Check. 1, 2, 3.
The D. This is the D-Brief.
Go. Your guide to Detroit.
Your guide to Detroit's
arts and entertainment scene.
This is the D-Brief.
All right, welcome to the debrief for the week of January 29th, 2018. How you doing, Mike?
I am well, Seth. How are you?
I am good. It's my sister's birthday. Remind me to call her when we get
Hey,
done
happy
with this
birthday, sis.
That is Mike Jeter over there.
Yeah, like they could see me.
All right, that's Mike Jeter. He's the other voice coming out of the speakers. I am Seth Wrestler. We are your co-hosts. And we got a very exciting show for you today.
Yeah, we do, man.
We've got Becky Scarcello from Feet on the Street Tours. She gives these great tours of downtown Detroit and all sorts of areas. She's got one over at the Eastern Market. You can check out everything that's going on over there. So we'll talk to her and get some history behind some of the buildings over there. Also, we're going to talk to Stephanie Matthews of the Sphinx Competition. Big competition happening this weekend for Black and Latino classical musicians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's students who are really looking to get into this world, and so it gathers people from all over the country really come to compete in this. I mean, it's a big deal. So we'll talk to Stephanie about that. Also, Jennifer Graham-Feltz, the director of Trojan Women, which is happening over at Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti. Ipsy, as the locals say.
Right. You pronounced it right.
I'm working on it.
Ypsilanti.
Yeah, see, I'm getting better.
Right.
I, of course, am the new guy. I recently moved to Detroit. You're the guy who's been here for a while.
The haggard old man.
Hey, I feel like I got in at the right time, though, because I don't know if you saw it. There was a huge article in The Guardian.
Yeah, man, I read that.
Talking about what a great place Detroit is. They're
finally catching on. The rest of the world is catching on. It really
is, right? I mean, that's Lonely Planet now. We got the New York Times. We've got CBS this morning. Now The Guardian. Guy's name is Aaron Millar. I think I don't know how you pronounce it in
Close enough.
English.
Millar.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That sounds more Irish.
He talks about all the places he went to. He went to, the usual places, Motown Museum, Baker's Keyboard Lounge, Grey Ghost. Even talks about Rebel Nell, who we talked to a few episodes back.
Oh.
I don't know this bar, though. Have you ever heard of this bar called Bad Luck?
No, I have not.
That talks about?
No, I haven't.
We might need a field trip.
I'm down for that.
All right, but this is the podcast if you want to know about all the concerts, comedy, movies, plays, and everything that's going on in the Detroit area, and we're going to talk about it all in this episode.
The D-Brief.
History lesson.
All right, like I said, I am the new guy. You are the guy who knows everything about this area.
I know everything about everything,
You
Seth.
do. I know
I'm
you
a brilliant man.
But this is your particular area of expertise. It's the Metro Detroit area. I think that's...
That and moon pies. I know a lot about moon pies.
I don't even know what a moon pie is. What's a moon pie?
I know a lot. It's a delicious dessert treat.
I'll have to get your recipe after the show. Maybe I can make my sister a moon pie for her birthday.
You don't make it, man. You go to the store and buy them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we'll talk about it off air.
Right.
We'll talk about it off air.
Gwen, you're getting a moon pie for your birthday. I'm telling you that right now.
Boy.
All right. So every episode, you give me some homework.
I do that.
And I have to go learn about something Detroitish.
And you do that.
And I come back and I tell you what I learned. So what was my homework for this week?
We were talking about architect Albert Kahn.
Albert Kahn.
Now, again, not Shaka Khan or Kubla Khan.
Kahn!
Exactly. Not that Khan either. Or James Kahn. Albert Kahn.
All right, here's what I learned about Albert Kahn.
Kahn.
Because he's a name that's come up. Like you go on, I like to go on these sort of Detroit preservation tours, a lot of the tours that, and his name comes up when they start talking about all the buildings. So I have definitely heard his name before. Here's what I learned about the guy. He was born in Prussia. He emigrated to the United States in 1880 when he was just 11. He's, came here as dare I say, a dreamer.
A dreamer.
A dreamer. And his father was a rabbi. His mother was very good with visual arts and music. And so in 1891, he starts working for an architecture firm called Mason and Rice. Mm-hmm. And while he's there, he wins a scholarship. He goes and tours Europe and looks at buildings, because I think that's what you do when you're an architect.
Back then, yeah.
Like,
look, a building.
A nice building. All right, so he comes back. He founds Albert Kahn Associates in 1895. And here's the big thing that comes out of that is reinforced concrete. Right, this it's basically like you take like a steel bar and you dip it in concrete. I don't know the exact scientific process, but that's basically the method.
You pretty much broke it down to the layman's terms. Take some steel and dip it in concrete.
It's architecture for dummies.
Yeah, man.
Here's how it works.
Just like you make a corn dog. It's the same.
Same way. Exact same method. I think that's where the inspiration came from.
Exactly.
I think
If we could make steel this way, we could make corn dogs.
I think he was in Paris. I think he saw a corn dog and he goes, you know what?
He's like magnifique or eureka or whatever.
So anyway, the reinforced concrete, it allows you to make bigger open spaces. Like we talked about the Packard plant a couple of episodes ago. That was a prime example of a place where they could just make a much bigger open space.
Yes.
And so he starts doing this. And among the buildings in 1917, you've got the Ford River Rouge plant, which was originally designed to build submarine chaser boats. Later became the world's largest factory. Kind of over time, it peaked at 120,000 workers.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
How many can you fit in your cubicle? Less.
2.
On a good day.
1928,
he completed the Fisher Building. The Architectural League of New York actually named it the most beautiful commercial structure of 1931.
I believe that.
So, it's a gorgeous building. Between 1917 and 1929, he designed headquarters for all 3 major newspapers, of which I'm only aware of 2, so I think that's another homework assignment down the road. I can't name 3 Detroit newspapers. And much of U of M Ann Arbor. So like the Burton Memorial Tower, he did the Hill Auditorium, the Hatcher Graduate Library, the William L. Clements Library. He actually said at one point that Clements was the one building that he most wanted to be remembered for.
Wow.
Yeah. And among other things, he worked on more than 1,000 commissions for Henry Ford, hundreds this guy did a lot.
He built a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he built a lot of stuff. And in fact, about 60 con buildings are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So he not only built a lot of stuff.
He built Detroit.
He built a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. 12 buildings are registered as official Michigan historical markers. How many of these do you know?
Maybe 5.
Yeah. So Battle Creek Post Office?
No.
The Dearborn Inn. That was actually the first airport hotel.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
See? Not just
a lot of rendezvous are probably there.
I think that's what made it the first.
Horse and buggy.
The Detroit Arsenal Tank Plant.
Yes.
The Detroit Free Press Building.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
The Edsel and Eleanor Ford House. The Fisher Building. The Ford Motor Company Lamp Factory. I didn't even know they built lamps.
I did not.
Highland Park Ford Plant, the Packard Automotive Plant, which you talked about, the Packard Proving Grounds, and Willow Run. And then Albert died in 1942.
Hold on, did he build his own casket?
He probably did.
This guy was incredible.
He was probably named the most beautiful casket of 1942.
I'm tired. He's done more in his lifetime than I've done
in your lifetime. You've done all day. That's all right. You still got time.
I'll build a mean submarine sandwich, though.
You still got time. All right, that's my report.
Good job,
that's
man.
what I learned. And here's the way it works. I now return the favor. You give me homework. I give you a pop quiz.
I ace these things so hard.
Don't you wish school would work this way?
Yeah.
Your teacher gave you homework, and you're like, all right, but what do you really know?
It's a gulp.
So here's how it works. 3 of the statements that I'm about to read, of the 3, 2 of them are true. One of them is false. You have to identify the false one. You've got the entire episode to figure it out.
Give it to me, Seth. I already know the answer.
Number 1, Albert Kahn Associates did a lot of work in Russia, where they trained 1,000 architects and designed 521 buildings. Number 2, the Fisher Building was supposed to be part of a 3-building complex, 2 30-story buildings flanking a 60-story building. But then the Depression hit. Number 3, as an outspoken pacifist, Kahn refused to design any buildings to be used for the production of weapons of war during World War II.
Okay.
All right. You going to think about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna marinate on that.
You think you know already, don't you? I can tell. I can see it in the look in your face.
Man. That's my glee.
We'll find out.
The deep breathe. The deep breathe.
Sports report.
All right, Mike, what's going on in the world of sports?
Well, Seth, our Wings, with only 4 wins thus far this January, they close out the month against the San Jose Sharks.
That's my home team. That's where I grew up.
Yeah, San Jose?
San Jose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
San Jose.
Yeah, come on, learn to pronounce
Whatever.
it. I grew up. I drove by the Shark Tank every day on my way as they were building it on my way to high school. Yeah.
Well, good on you.
Yeah.
And kicking off February, they're going up against the Carolina Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, and the Boston Bruins. Our Pistons, with only 2 wins for the entire month of January. We have some horrid teams, people. I'm sorry. Hopefully the podcast.
I've got more
gets you through.
wins than that. In
You
January.
have 2 less together. We have 2 less
Yes.
wins than the Pistons.
Right, yeah.
6 less than the Pistons and the Wings. Think about that. But they hope to turn things around in February with games against the Memphis Grizzlies, the Miami Heat, and the Portland Trail Blazers. They play them all this week. Spartans basketball team, they take on Penn State, Indiana, and Iowa. Michigan Wolverines basketball team, they're taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers and the Northwestern Wildcats. So that's cool. That's awesome. And let's see, Harlem Globetrotters, they're coming to the Hara.
Oh, I've seen them.
I haven't seen them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's fun. You know what? Though it's fun.
Well, at
but
least seen them live. I've seen them a million times on TV.
it's a family affair. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Take your daughter. Yeah, you'll have a good time.
Not a whole lot of cursing and gun shooting and gunplay.
Not as much as you would want.
Yeah.
No.
They're not like the real world, you know. But they're here at the Hara on February 3rd, so that's cool. Also in the news, Larry Nassar,
Yeah.
a horrible guy, the Olympic trainer. He was convicted last week, 40 to 175 years.
That's a
in
long
prison.
time.
Yeah.
It's not long enough.
Well-
It's not long enough. But I think we're all happy to see.
It would be
that
horrible if
judgment
he
come
made it
down.
174. And good on the ladies that came out and said their piece about him. I mean, over 150 women
Yeah.
came out and spoke against this guy. He was just a nightmare. So that is over, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, over, except that it's rippling out and now having impact
Absolutely
everywhere
right,
else.
right. You know, not all across the MSU campus and all. So we'll see what else shakes loose from East Lansing. The Pistons, our beloved Pistons, who aren't winning much. Some good news: they traded for perennial All-Star Blake Griffin from the LA Clippers.
A big
we got
superstar.
him. Yeah, man, we got a superstar in the house. What?
How many wins did they have to trade for that? Oh, wait, they don't have any.
Well, they traded 3/4 of their team to get him. Avery Bradley is bye-bye. Boban Marjanovic, bye-bye. And Tobias Harris, who I like Tobias. He was cool, but he's out of here.
Bye-bye.
Plus a first-round pick for next year and a 2019 second-round pick.
Maybe they can get some of those Harlem Globetrotters to stick around.
Man, listen, I tell you what, they might want to kidnap a few. They can make the long shot. Also, cool news. U of M women's basketball scoring machine, Caitlin Flaherty. I think she's very, very African. That's a very African name. Caitlin Flaherty. Irish, I believe. She broke Glenn Rice's scoring record.
Did you just mix up African and Irish?
Yeah, it's just the same thing. African, Irish, whatever. She broke Glenn Rice's basketball scoring record with over 2,500 points.
Wait, say that again?
Caitlin Flaherty, women's basketball goddess.
Yes.
She broke Glenn Rice's basketball scoring record.
Damn,
Yeah, over 2,500 points.
that's a lot of points.
Maybe the Pistons should get her.
Yeah.
And
no
the Red
kidding.
Wings. Why not?
Well, congratulations to her. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man. That's awesome.
All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll take a look at what's happening in theaters around the Detroit area.
This is the D.
Detroit
This is the D.
Brave.
All right, Mike, let's talk about the Sphinx organization.
We're dying to hear about
Yeah,
this.
this is a very cool organization that I really like what they do. They have a mission, which is to promote diversity in the performing arts, particularly African Americans and Latinos. Get them involved in classical music. And they have a big competition that they do every year. It's coming up this weekend. So I actually had an opportunity to sit down with Stephanie Matthews. She is the director of artist development over at the Sphinx organization. And so I asked her to tell me a little bit about the history of the organization. Here's what she said.
The organization started and was founded 21 years ago by Aaron Dworkin. And at the helm of that was the realization that there was maybe less than 1% representation of Black and Latino musicians in professional orchestras worldwide. So, as a student at University of Michigan, he's like, well, how could this be? And he decided to start this competition that was open to Black and Latino string players to try and, one, raise visibility of this talent pool. And from there, it just kind of had a snowball effect, and the Sphinx organization was born out of that.
So that's the organization, and that's what they set out to do. And the way they do that is through this competition called the Sphinx Competition. So here's what Stephanie said when she was explaining the competition to me.
Okay, so the Sphinx Competition is held every year in Detroit. The competition is open to all junior, high school, and college-aged Black and Latino string players residing in the United States. It offers Black and Latino classical string players a chance to compete under the guidance of an internationally renowned panel of judges, and that is backed by our Sphinx Symphony Orchestra. And members of that orchestra are, members of or past members of the New York Philharmonic, LA Philharmonic, Detroit Symphony Orchestra, and so on and so forth.
So we're talking big players here. I mean, this is like if you were doing comedy and there was a competition here and, Chris Rock came in to judge and Tim Allen came in to judge and like all the big, you know what I mean? Like
they would pick me as a winner, but
right, absolutely.
That's just a given. But I think this is incredible, man. I grew up on orchestra music.
Did you really?
Yeah, man.
What did you play?
I didn't play anything, but I just, I love to listen to it. And in high school, I had friends that played in orchestra, bass and cello and all that
I
stuff.
played the clarinet for like a year and I was not good at it. It was good that I stopped. But yeah.
You didn't play Yaz flute?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I think there was a keyboard. I could do Axel F and I could do the Cheers theme song. And those are, I'll play it for you later. You'll be impressed. Trust me. Anyway, I talked to Stephanie about this year's competition because it's coming up this weekend. And here's what she said.
So the Sphinx Competition is going to take place from January 31st to February 4th. We are hosted at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra Max Fisher Music Center. And we have 19 semifinalists. So congratulations to all of the young musicians who have made it this far. And over the course of that weekend, they're going to compete in a semifinals round. And then from there, you'll have the 3 finalists and they will compete for a chance at top prizes. So for the junior division, top prize is $10,000. And for the senior division, top prize is a $50,000 Robert Frederick Smith prize.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of cheddar.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of cello cheddar.
That really
That's
is.
awesome, man.
Yeah. So, no, I like what they're encouraging.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
In addition to that, they've got a program called Sphinx Connect that coincides. It happens the same weekend. It's basically a big networking event. Stephanie told me about it.
We are in our second year of Sphinx Connect. And what's really exciting about the Sphinx Connect conference that's coming up is it overlaps the dates of the Sphinx competition. So we have so many fellows that are coming in this year. We have a few hundred fellows that are coming, but we also have a number of speakers and panelists. And I'm talking about these are some of the most reputed, professionals in the field. So you'll be able to network with hundreds of musicians, industry leaders, educators, funders, diversity advocates. And it's really a transformative weekend.
I can imagine that this would be a really big deal if, this was your thing, the classical music and the strings. Like,
well, even if it isn't, just going out and supporting these young people and their endeavors, that's, to me, that's the phenomenal part about it. I would love to go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I asked Stephanie, I said, all right, you've been doing this. You set out with a mission. The organization's been doing this for decades. Talk to me about the impact of the Sphinx organization that you've seen.
We have the Sphinx Virtuosi. Like I said, they tour. And I mean, we're now presenting at, Carnegie Hall and Stern Auditorium. We're presenting at the Kennedy Center. We're presenting at the Ordway Center. These are huge, huge venues. And I mean, it's incredible to see the impact that it has on not just young people, but I remember we were on tour last year in Chicago at the Harold Washington Cultural Center, which is the first time we were in that venue. And there were so many parents and grandparents that came up to me with tears in their eyes, like, I just never saw this before. And now I can actually, this is something that I would want for my kid, or this is something I would want for my grandchildren.
Yeah, so that's pretty powerful right there. The thing about Stephanie is that she's not a Detroit native. She actually first came to Detroit, because of the Sphinx organization, and she actually came up through it. She's been connected in various ways to the Sphinx organization over the years. So I asked her to tell me her story, and she did.
I competed back in 2004. I was in college at the time at Indiana University, and I participated in the Sphinx competition. And to be honest, when I stepped into this space and I saw the pool of talent, to be in a room with other musicians of color truly was a game changer for me, because growing up, I was usually the only one in that space. And I've heard that from a lot of other musicians. It felt like home to a degree. And the networking is incredible. Like I said, some of the people that I met that weekend for the competition are people that I'm still in touch with and like good friends with. We go on vacations, we, joke around or whatever, hang out. And also we work together. These are my colleagues in the field.
Let me ask you something. Do you ever have moments like that? Because I know you're a comedian, and I know you've had moments like, for example, the big thing that happened with the Kevin Hart special this year, where, not only are you an artist, but these are people that you network with, and these are colleagues and people that you're going to run into over and over again. And you ever have step into a room and you're just like,
yeah, every year, at least for the last 4 years, there is a 51st Jokes.
Yeah, you've told me about this
event. Yeah, over at the Arc in Ann Arbor.
I regret not going.
Dude, it's to me, I get the feels, because a lot of these comedians I don't get to see an entire year, perform, because I'm performing on weekends. I have other responsibilities, like this beautiful podcast, that I can't get together with them too often.
Don't blame it on me. I'm not keeping you from your comedy friends.
I'm not saying that, but I'm just, I'm working and they're working and all. So we all get together the first Tuesday of the new year, and we all get an opportunity to share like our brand new joke, or a brand new joke that we've written specifically for this event. And it's just cool, man. So I can completely understand where Stephanie would get the feels walking into a room like that.
Yeah, and I get the sense that the first time you do it is the first time you ever experience those kind of feels. Well, anyway, the Sphinx Competition Finals concert is happening Sunday, February 4th at Orchestra Hall. The junior division is actually on Friday, February 2nd, and you can get all the info over at sphinxmusic.org. Coming up in just a few, there's a big football game coming up this weekend.
Yeah, man.
All right, we'll talk about it.
This is the Deep Brief.
On stage.
Mike, let's take a quick look at what's going on in theaters all around the Metro Detroit area. Detroit Rep Theater has Dauphin Island. Eastern Michigan University has Trojan Women opening this weekend. We'll talk to the director. The Fox Theater has Sesame Street Live. Let's party. You've done that before, haven't you?
I've done my fair share of Sesame Street Lives.
I do like Muppets. I'm not going to lie. The Matrix Theater Company has the world premiere of the World War III comedy Big Red Button. Meadowbrook Theater in Rochester has Nana's Naughty Knickers. It's the last weekend to see that. Michigan Opera Theater has Travis Wall's Shaping Sound, After the Curtain. That's happening on Saturday, February 3rd. Let me tell you, I'm a Travis Wall fan. I love, this is my guilty pleasure.
Tell me about him. I don't know who he is.
So You Think You Can Dance is the reality show. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. I'm normally a TV snob, but I love So You Think You Can Dance. Travis Hall, I think he was on season 2. I think he took second place that season. And he's a very good dancer, but he's a choreographer.
Ooh.
And I am such a So You Think You Can Dance
That's a fancy
nerd.
dancer.
I know, right? He tells all the dancers what to do. He puts their everything together for them. And
so he's like a dad.
Yeah, he's like a dad. Okay. and he's amazing. I swear to God. So I'm
amazing too. So as a dad, so I completely can relate to that.
I would totally be into that. I would totally go see that. Music Hall has the 13th Story Treehouse on Sunday, February 4th. Open Book Theater in Wyandotte has last weekend to go see Emily over there. Stagecrafters in Royal Oak has Into the Woods. Tipping Point Theater in Northville has a show that I think you just saw over the weekend.
Just saw it, yeah, man, on Sunday.
Every Brilliant Thing. We'll talk about that in a moment. Wayne State Studio Theater at Hillberry has the Louis Heck Rabi Dramatic Playwriting One-Act Festival. Also, Wayne State's Hillberry Theater has the Colored Museum opening this weekend. Thursday, February 1st, The Moth, the storytelling event. That's going down at the Marble Bar. We've talked about this before. You have got to go out to a Moth event.
I might be there this Thursday.
Really? You should. You should absolutely go. The theme is Love Hurts.
Oh, I can completely, maybe I can go up and talk about my stories.
You totally should. And start mentally writing about it, your BDSM story. and and then you put your name in the hat, and if you get drawn, you go over. I did it twice last year.
Nice.
And it's a lot of fun. And on Thursday, February, what is that, 1st Thursday, the U.S. Poet Laureate Tracy K. Smith is going to do a lecture and reading at the DIA. That's to kick off Black History Month. Also, just want to mention this. There's a couple of new exhibits that are opening at MOCAD, the Museum of Contemporary Art of Detroit, in Detroit. I don't know what the preposition is there, but there's a preposition in there, I think.
I think it's design.
Design. Oh, design? Oh.
Yeah.
I just know it as MOCAD.
No?
So
All right.
we'll figure it out. Anyway, they've got a couple of new exhibits. One from Carlos Bunga called Doubled Architecture. Also Danielle Dean, True Red Ruin. Deep Space has Optics Division of the Metabolic Studio, Voices of Detroit. And Mike Kelly's Mobile Homestead, the Listening Archive. So go check out those new exhibits over at MOCAD. Coming up in just a minute, we're going to talk about the comedy shows coming to the Detroit area.
Debrief.
Want more? Text the word Detroit to the number 444-999.
All right, Mike, here's what I want to know.
What's that, Seth?
All right, the big Super Bowl game this weekend.
Yes, Super Bowl LII.
Which is, hold on, I got to,
Come on, man.
dude, my Roman is not what it used to be.
L is 50.
Yes. I
is-
too.
Yes.
Hey, look at that. I can do math. This is the new math they keep talking about, right?
Yes, Roman numerals. It's a new math. It's only been around for like 2,000 years. That's all.
It's more than that. All right, anyway.
Like Corinthians the second.
Corinthians, well, you know. All right.
Stable genius. Anyway.
So big game this weekend. Big game. I'm so used to saying big game. You know, in radio, you're not allowed to say Super Bowl, especially when you're doing any contests or things like that. Like, they'll sue you. They'll, trademark infringement and all that. So.
Well, what if you say soup or bowl?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's the way to get around it.
I will run that by the legal minds.
You're smart.
I'll see if that holds any water there. So the big game this weekend. I am new to the Detroit area. I got to decide who I'm rooting for.
Yes.
I'm
You're
really
not a big
sure.
sports fan anyway.
I'm not, so I don't really care what your answer is. But but I do want to know
To the quick.
who I should be rooting for, so that everybody will think I'm cool. Well, I mean, seriously, if you're a Detroiter, who are you rooting for this week?
Well, it's the New England Patriots versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Patriots, Eagles. You can't get more American than that.
No, like
unless it were like the
LA
Arkansas Betsy
apple
Ross's,
pies.
right?
Yeah,
Betsy
right.
Ross's versus the, So yeah, you can't get more American than that,
Right.
And listen, the Patriots have Michigan quarterback Tom Brady, man. He's not from Michigan, but he went to the University of Michigan.
So
he's from California.
He carpetbagged here for a couple of years, and
got all his fame, got his skills up, and then he said, "Hey, I want to go win some Super Bowls." So he went out and won 5 of them.
Was it obvious when he was here that he was going to be as great as he is?
Full disclosure, I don't remember him playing for Michigan. Hand to God. Do not remember the guy playing.
Is that because of him, or did you just have some lost years?
Well, back then, he was there when Drew Henson, I believe, was there. And he was behind Drew Henson. Drew Henson was supposedly the second coming of, Otto Graham or something.
Right.
And he just, he played one season, did well, then went away and won Super Bowls.
Oh, wow. So
It's a feel-good story, Great kid, made greater, that
Right.
sort of thing. So, so he's playing for the Patriots. And then on the other side of the ball, the Eagles, on defense, have 2 Michigan players, Brandon Graham and Alan Branch, linebacker and defensive lineman. There are no Michigan State players on either team.
wait,
which is weird.
Do you remember these two?
Oh, yeah, I definitely remember them. Alan Branch was a beast.
But you
And Brandon
don't
Graham
remember
was a
Tom
stud.
Brady.
I don't remember Tom Brady.
That seems odd.
I know him now.
Yeah?
I know him a lot now.
So, all right.
Yeah, so, that's really what the Michigan connection to all of this. They're playing in Minnesota. Minnesota just happens to be a team in the Lions division. And Philadelphia fans and Boston fans, that ought to go over well.
What is it about these fans? I mean, these are...
Well, Philly, they booed Santa Claus one year. That's their thing, man. They're just a-hole fans. That's what they do.
and Boston fans. I mean, I was always
they're so much
struck-
nicer.
I never got it. I mean, obviously it was baseball, but I never got the fact that you would yell Yankees suck at every game, even if you weren't playing the Yankees.
That's my other team. So
the Yankees?
yeah,
Oh.
they had Derek Jeter on it, and you're always a winner when you have a Jeter on your team.
All right, so you haven't answered my question. Who are you rooting for this weekend?
I am. I'm a little ambivalent to all of it. I don't care who wins. I just wanted to be a good game like last year.
All right.
I don't care. My daughter, she's rooting for Philly because she's a huge fan of the Roots, the rap group, the Roots, and they're from Philadelphia. And Kevin Hart's from Philadelphia, so I guess I'm rooting for Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. I like her system. So I'm a big fan of the Dropkick Murphys and the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. So I guess I'm rooting for the Patriots. Then.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be the Roots versus the Boss Tones.
Okay. Are we going to put some money on this?
Sure.
A little wager.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after the show. Anyway, the game kicks off at 6:30. It's on NBC this Sunday, February 4th. Enjoy it. We're going to talk about what we did last weekend, including you went to this play over at the Tipping Point Theater called Every Brilliant Thing.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that in a moment.
Welcome to the D. Breathe.
Funny stuff.
Mike, what's going on in the comedy clubs?
Okay. On Thursday, 2/1, kicking off February, Ray and Laura present Stuart Huff. Stuart Huff is coming to town. He's at Smalls, man.
He's a comedian's comedian,
Oh, he
right?
is the comedian's comedian. We talked about him
Yes,
last
we
week.
did.
He's coming back to town, man.
You're telling me I
pretty
got to
cool
go see
video.
this show.
You have to, man.
right.
He's so, dude is ridiculous. He's off the chain funny.
Talk a little bit about Ray and Laura, too, because they do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah,
in the
Ray and Laura,
comedy
they
scene.
have a monthly showcase that they do, and they also have a huge show, and it's coming up, where they raise money for Suck It Suicide, which is a great foundation to help out families who have lost loved ones to suicide. They put on great shows. They bring in big names like Stuart Huff every now and then, and I've been on the show, so
That's
I'm a big
names.
name.
All right.
Boopity boop boop. That's how that works. Okay. On Friday at Big Tommy's in Novi, comedy club in Novi, Dan Simon, local favorite, he will be there Friday and Saturday. At Caesars Windsor, America's Got Talent winner, ventriloquist Terry Fader will be there.
They let him leave Vegas. He's like everywhere there.
Dude is like, since he's gotten into it, since he's won America's Got Talent, he's been like top 5 grossing comedy acts.
Wow.
In the United States. So he's doing well.
We
He's
should
not
put on a
hurting.
talent show.
He should. He should come here on the show.
No, we should.
We should. Just with ventriloquists?
Yes.
Okay, we can do that.
Detroit's got ventriloquists.
Yeah, oh boy, that's going to go over well. Saturday, February 3rd, funny lady and 4-time winner of the Canadian Comedy Award, Deborah DiGiovanni. She'll be over there at the Chrysler Theater, beautiful theater. Jessime Peluso of MTV's Girl Code. She will be at the Crowfoot on Saturday in Pontiac. Also this weekend at Mark Ridley's Comedy Club, Detroit to LA Comedy Challenge Finals is on this Wednesday. I'll be closing out that show, so if you guys want to come out and check me out.
I'm going to come check you out.
Yeah, because I'm funny.
What kind of fruit do you like?
Cherries.
All right. I'll be throwing some Michigan cherries at the stage just for you.
Keep it Michigan.
No, we talked to Bill about that last weekend. That's
Yes.
going to be good.
It's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Also over the weekend, from Last Comic Standing, Gotham Comedy Live, and The Late Late Show, and many, many others. Joe DeVito will be there over the weekend. At Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, the young, refreshing face of comedy, Nore Davis, will be there. Punchline Comedy Lounge in Southfield, they're celebrating their 1-year anniversary show with Def Comedy Jam alum Alex Thomas. He'll be there Thursday through Saturday, not through Sunday this week, through Saturday. And at the Holly Hotel, local faves, Tom McCarthy, that's my buddy, and Sheila Lovely, she will be there with him.
All right, this weekend, Trojan Women is opening at Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, and we'll talk to the director in just a few.
This is the D. Breathe.
About last week.
Mike, here's what keeps happening with this podcast.
What's
is
that?
You and I keep talking about cool stuff to do, and then we go talk to people, and then, I'm like, I got to go do that.
Because, Seth, man, we're not only talking about things, we're living this life.
Yeah.
Man. People should be listening. Not only listening to us, we're living what we're saying, dude.
Yeah, because I get excited about it. So
I do too.
I finally made it out. We interviewed.
What did you do?
A while back? Remember we interviewed Bee Nectar, the meadery over in Ferndale.
Yes.
So my girlfriend and I said, you know what? Let's go. And Saturday night we hopped into a lift, because I wanted to do the full on sample. I'm one of those guys. I like to walk in. I like the sampler. I love the flight, and I'm like, just give me the weirdest things. And it's like sushi. They give you a little checklist, and you check off what you want. And we did. I think we tried 15 different meads, and little samples. Some of them they don't even give you the full 4 ounces because they're little.
That's a lift worthy evening for sure.
It was a lift worthy evening. But let me tell you something. Those meads are fantastic. I mean, they tell you all the ingredients that are in it. They tell you the flavors that are in it, and you can taste them, and they are pretty incredible. I mean,
I'm not a beer drinker. Would I like it?
You would. My girlfriend is not a beer drinker either. It's definitely sweeter.
Then that's me.
Yeah, though not like overly sweet. There was like a cherry chipotle one, and so you get the cherry at the beginning, and then like all this spice at the end. It was they've got one that's kind of half beer, half mead. They've got one that I think that's the one they're working on with Black Lotus over in Clawson on.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, oh my God, and it's still, this is not in like downtown Ferndale. This is kind of like off in the middle of nowhere Ferndale. So it wasn't like jam packed. Like it was a cool place to just go and chill for a Saturday night.
But it's going to be once the weather breaks and all that other stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. But let me tell you something. I highly recommend it. So,
my man.
So that's what I did. That's I caught up.
Oh, you did something else though.
I did. I went to Winter Blast on Sunday.
Winter Blast.
You've been before, right?
I have.
I had never been.
What did you think?
It was a lot. First of all, it wasn't that wintry. It was. No, it was great. It was great. The ice sculptures it was more like the Puddle Garden, but no, it was absolutely great. I mean, I couldn't believe how much they decked out Campus Martius. I mean, they had like a full on. It felt like you were in a ski lodge when you walked into that tent. You know what I mean? Like it was like being in an episode of Frasier set in a ski lodge. I don't know how else to describe it. And we ziplined. We ziplined down Woodward.
What?
Yeah, I did it. I full on, I climbed.
I'm just so afraid, man. I'm going to break. It's going to be a zoop line. I'm telling you.
You know what? You're fine. And then you get up and then he goes, okay, go. And that's all he says. And you're like, do I get more instruction than that?
Try not to fall.
Right. And so you're like, okay, and then you sort of step off and you go down, you're looking around, you're like, everything's cool, and then you get to the end of it and you realize that they didn't tell you what's going to happen at the end of it. So you don't, and I wasn't paying attention.
Happened?
Well, I'm looking at, there's like a bunch of red sandbags and I'm like, do I lift my legs? Am I going to hit those sandbags? Is there a technique to this? But it turns out that there's a big, around the wire that you're zipping down, there's a big like sort of foam core thing wrapped around at the end, so you just kind of
like a scrunchy thing. And
yeah, exactly.
Kind of,
so but the thoughts definitely went through my head like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I freaked out a little bit.
See, I'm a big science fan, and I understand mass time acceleration. I'm a little bigger than you are, so I think that little scrunchy thing wouldn't help. I probably would end up in Starbucks or something, right? Like a skipping rock across the Detroit River, man.
No, but it was a lot of fun. So it was really
dope,
cool.
Man. Yeah, man. I'm glad you got a chance to go do it.
Yeah. What about you? What was your last week like?
Well, sir, I went to see the play Every Brilliant Thing at the Tipping Point
over in
Theater,
Northville, right?
Over in Northville. James Cull. It's a one-man play. There's a audience involvement because he passes out these notes with numbers on it. He'll shout out a number. You have to read what's on that paper, and he pulls certain people out of the audience to play certain characters in his life. His wife, his father. Lady played a teacher. I played a college professor that he had, and I knew he was scoping me out because he's like, that guy has skills, and he was correct.
Is modesty one of them?
Yes, I received a standing ovation from the crowd in my 3 or 4 minutes participating in that.
Bras thrown on stage.
Yes, man, it was amazing. It was amazing. Afterward, a lady did say that she loved my voice and she was going to forward my information to a friend who's looking for a voiceover actor. So that was cool. I wasn't going to do it. But man, it was emotional. I shed a few tears at times, and it was just deep, man. But it was funny too. It was funny, but it was emotional. It was a roller coaster, like literally a roller coaster. And he was so phenomenal.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
man,
great.
I highly recommend it. I've been telling people for the last 24 hours, go see this play. It's going to end very soon, so go check it out.
We had him on the last episode, but he's not the only one doing this show.
No, there's an actress that does it as well. I cannot remember her name, so forgive me for that. But so I don't know when she's doing it versus when he's doing it. I'm assuming that either way, you're going to get an incredible performance because it's a very moving play. It's very moving. But I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Well, very cool. Now we got to figure out what we're going to do this week.
Yeah.
But the good news is we're going to talk about all the movies that are opening in just a moment.
This is the Deep Breathe.
Get out of town.
All right, every once in a while, we like to highlight something that's happening a little bit outside of our area. So last week, I went over to Ypsilanti. Do I say Ipsy?
That is
cooler?
correct. You
it's
can say
cooler
Ipsy.
to say Ipsy,
Yes.
right? All right.
All the cool kids are doing that.
All right, I'm going to try that. I'm going to start working Ipsy into my conversation. I'm feeling a little Ipsy. Maybe I had too much to drink. Anyway, I talked to Jennifer Graham-Feltz over at Eastern Michigan University. She is the director of Trojan Women, which is opening this weekend. And I talked to her about the play, and here's what she said to me about it.
This production of Trojan Women is a modern interpretation by Ellen McLaughlin that's based off of the ancient Greek play Trojan Women by Euripides. And so this play is unique in a way. I have to imagine that it's the first play that is ever written telling the story of the victims of conflict. And more precisely, the victims of conflict here are the women of ancient Troy.
That sounds like it's got some ramifications beyond just ancient Troy.
Well, anytime Euripides is mentioned, you notice some serious stuff going down.
Yeah, so I don't know this play. I didn't know what the sort of basic plot was. So I asked her, and she walked me through it a little bit.
So the story of Trojan Women is basically the day after Troy has been taken over. And so these are the women that are standing on the shore of Troy that are waiting to be put into boats and taken to Greece. And they talk about what their life will be like when they go to Troy to become slaves and concubines for the conquerors.
Now, when she told me about this, I was thinking that, obviously given the political backdrop of everything that's going on in this country with the Me Too movement.
Me Too, right.
And the way that's sort of permeating everything. And we talked about, what's happening with the female gymnasts and all that. Mm-hmm. I was wondering how she saw this play in the light of everything that's going on. And here's what Jennifer said.
So the women in this play, they talk a lot about how they are the prizes and the spoils of war. And really, these women who have lost their sons, who have lost their husbands, their brothers, their fathers, they're really living in the choices that men have made for them. They did not ask for this war to take place. They did not ask for their homeland to be destroyed, but it was the choices that men had made. And one of the things that always struck me about this play was sort of the strength and power in femininity, and the fact that these women, although they didn't get to make the choices, they have to live in the repercussions, and they will live in the repercussions the way that women do. And before this summer with the Me Too movement, I've had many conversations with friends of mine, my mother, and other women that I've known over the years where things would come up about experiences that we've had. And to be honest, we're very lucky to live in the United States and have as many freedoms, to have as many rights as women have. But also at the same time, there was this undercurrent that happened where we would say, I know this happened to somebody, or this happened to me, or these are the things that I've experienced over the years. And it tended to be these hushed conversations that women would have in private, where we sort of always knew that there were these things that happened to all of us that we just had to endure in order to be successful, or in order to have a marriage, or in order to be in a relationship. And then when women started to come out to say, this has happened to me at work, or this has happened to me in these relationships that I've had with men, it felt freeing in a way, that it's a conversation that men were forced to become a part of as well. So these women that we see in ancient Troy, they don't get that luxury, but we get to look upon them now with the eyes that we have and get to see that maybe there is hope in the future.
I don't know about you, Mike, but every once in a while I have a moment during this podcast where I'm like, we really need to have a woman on this show.
Yes.
To be part of this discussion.
Yes.
You know, and I feel like this is one of those moments. So
yeah, man.
By the way, we're looking for a co-host. Go to the debrief.detroit.com/co-host, and we'll table this discussion.
That's a nice segue.
Till you get here. Yes.
Yes. We won't talk anything else about it.
Right. But seriously, go see Trojan Women. It's at Eastern Michigan University.
Sounds very interesting.
It opens Friday, February 2nd. If you want all the details, you can go to the Eastern Michigan University website for details. But we are going to have a woman on the show in just a few moments. We've got Becky Scarcello from Feet on the Street. She'll be stopping by in just a bit.
Action. This is the Deep Brief.
On the screen.
Mike, what's going on in the movie theaters?
There's a new film, animated film, opening nationally, Bilal, A New Breed of Hero.
What's that all about?
It's about this kid named Bilal, and he's a new breed of hero.
What they
I didn't want to get too deep into it.
All right.
Just trust me on this. The voice of Bilal is Adewale Akinyoye Agbaje.
Oh,
I said that beautifully.
I actually know
Just
who that
rolled off
is.
Who is he?
That's it's Walt's father from Lost.
Okay.
And-
I know him from Oz because I didn't
Yes,
see
yes,
Lost.
he was also in Oz.
Yes.
Yeah, he was great in that.
I do know Ian McShane. He's from Deadwood.
Yeah.
He's awesome. He's also in the John Wick films.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I love Ian McShane. So even that, just worth it going and listen to his voice. He's awesome. Also at the local theaters, the Art House Theaters, at the Main Art Theater in Royal Oak, we have Phantom Thread, Call Me By Your Name, I, Tanya, which is nominated for a couple Academy Awards. Right?
I gotta go see that movie. That
A
looks
lot of
so
people are
good.
saying it's the best of the best. But my favorite thing to talk about, Friday midnight showing, Phantasm remastered. I love Phantasm, dude. That movie truly scared me when I was a kid.
Is this the Orb? Is this Pinhead?
Yeah, no. This is
mixing
the
them up.
old man in the cemetery, and he has the balls silver balls that shoot out. And they stick in people's head and drill into them and all that. Jazz.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah,
then.
man, people
I've
are
seen
coming up
Pinhead.
missing.
Yeah, what is
I love
that?
Phantasm.
Okay, I gotta go.
Yeah,
see this.
Pinhead is Hellraiser. Different film.
I'm mixing up my '80s horror films.
Yes. But that's not as good as this one, though. Maple Theater and Kitchen in Bloomfield. We have The Shape of Water, Darkest Hour, The Post, and Phantom Thread is also playing there at the Detroit Film Theater at the DIA. A cool, interesting film. Sammy Davis Jr., I've Gotta Be Me. I would probably go see that. I love Sammy Davis Jr. So that seems interesting about his life. Redford Theater is showing on 2/2.
Yeah.
Groundhog's Day.
Oh, of course. You
Of course.
gotta.
Groundhog Day.
That's a great movie too.
Of course it is.
Yes, I would
And
see
you gotta
that
watch
again.
it on 2/2. You
Yeah,
gotta watch it on Groundhog Day.
I would watch that movie again and again and again and again and again and again.
I get it.
Yeah, all right.
Cinema Detroit has 2 trains running. Seems very interesting. It's a story about the search for 2 forgotten blues singers set in Mississippi during the height of the civil rights movement. It's one of the films there. So, yeah, go check it out, man.
All right, stick around in just a few. We're going to talk about the concerts coming to Detroit.
Can't get enough.
This is the Deep Brief.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you find your favorite shows.
All right, Mike, I love going on these tours of the city. You know,
You do. You've been on more than I have.
I have been on quite a few. Well, that's how I learn about the history of the city. So,
I'm kind of scared of tours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I grew up in the era of Scooby-Doo. And I just keep thinking there's going to be some kind of monster or ghost thing happening, and I'm not prepared for that.
Did Scooby-Doo always begin with a tour? Was that kind of the
Well,
setup?
they were just riding around. What do you think they were doing? Getting high or something?
I didn't think they were touring.
Yeah, those kids, they were touring around like spooky areas.
Stay
man.
away from those walking tours, kids.
Right.
They're dangerous. No, I love these tours, and so I'm really excited about our guest today. She is the business manager and tour guide for Feet on the Street Tours. They do a lot of custom tours around the Detroit area. So if you're coming to the Detroit area, you want to go back and visit your old neighborhood, or you want to learn about the area that you're moving to, they'll do that. But they also do regular tours of Eastern Market in the area over there. Welcome, Becky Scarcello.
Hi, guys.
Hey,
Thanks for
Becky.
having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. So talk to me a little bit about the company and what you guys do.
Sure. So we're called Feet on the Street Tours Detroit, and we've been around a long time. So the founder, Linda Yellen, started it as just a personal interest and really a hobby about 15 years ago. So that's before a lot of people were doing this kind of thing. So she was really a pioneer in this kind of work. So she made it an official business about 10, almost 11 years ago, and I came on 5 years ago. And our mission is just to help people experience, explore, and enjoy Detroit. So we're all about cultural tourism and connecting and reconnecting people to the city.
So for guys like this guy over here, who doesn't regularly go on tours, will you explain to him what happens and how many...
Are there ghosts?
Yeah.
Well, there are some ghosts, but it's not scary.
Ghosts? No. Okay.
And Mike, I think that you might like our food tours.
Oh, see, okay.
If I had to guess.
All right.
But so Seth mentioned the Eastern Market tours. That's kind of our bread and butter, so to speak. So
Love Eastern Market.
The food arm of our business is called Delish Detroit, and so we do a tour called Come Hungry, Leave Happy. And that is actually the case. So we want you to come hungry because we want you to taste all the amazing offerings at Eastern Market.
That's my life's motto.
You've got restaurants there, you've got chefs, you've got the local farmers and vendors, people making incredible things. So we really give you a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on in the whole district there with lots of food, history, fun facts mixed in. If you know Supino's Pizza,
Oh, of course I do.
well, that place, always has a line out the door.
Yes.
We have the inside track, so they open up early for us.
Oh.
So private dining at Supino's.
What?
Yep. So
I'm going to do this tour now. Have you been to Supino's yet?
I know I haven't yet, so I gotta
it's
go.
the best. It's the best. So we have
It's
one coming up.
ridiculous.
February 17th is our next one. And
Wait, back up. What makes Supino's, I thought you've got all this history.
Yeah.
Give me some knowledge about Supino's.
well, it's Neapolitan style, and it's homemade.
Wait, that means orange, strawberry, and vanilla,
not
right?
that kind.
Oh, chocolate. I'm sorry.
Just for short people. That's what it is.
Thin crust, authentic Italian pizza. And Dave Mancini, is the owner and the chef, he was actually studying to be a physical therapist, and he wanted to woo a woman that he met into dating him. So he decided to learn to make some pizza. And so
Wait, does that work?
it worked for him.
He got the woman.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he made up this pizza and said, this is a whole lot more fun than my physical therapy book. So he was reading cookbooks and, found a family connection to Supino, Italy, and the rest is history.
I'm going to try this. Next time I'm on Tinder, I'm just going to... I'm going to have Little Caesars on the speed dial.
See, that must have been my problem when I was dating because
You didn't cook?
Right.
I always went with DiGiorno.
Oh, see, no.
Bad move.
Come
Bad
on.
move.
Supino's.
It's hot and ready has a whole
Oh.
new meaning.
But no, seriously, Supino's it's the, oh man.
And
the
it's
bee's
tough
knees.
to get in there. So
It is.
we give you the inside scoop, and sometimes we introduce you to Dave. And for the ladies out there, he's not bad on the eyes.
So leave the woman at home.
His pizza's not... his pizza's for you, but...
Right. Pizza's for the guys. Eye candy for the ladies.
So where else do you go on this tour?
On the Eastern Market tour?
Yeah.
Well, we mix it up, so it's never the same tour twice. We have a lot of repeat customers, actually. But we go under the sheds and visit the farmers and people making, specialty chocolates and mustards and all those kind of yummy, good things. And then we go in places like Gabriel Imports, where a lot of people even that shop at Eastern Market regularly don't know. The owners are Greek and Lebanese, and they make everything from scratch. So
Wow.
we get you some spinach pie and some hummus, tabbouleh, that kind of thing. And so we're all about introducing you to real Detroiters doing pretty amazing things in the whole world of food. And then along the way, we also talk about the art in Eastern Market, the murals that are there. We talk about the music. It's really a 24/7 district now with housing and things going on. So we cover it all.
I have to imagine that area has changed quite a bit over the years.
It has, but the cool thing is it's still authentic. I mean, you can go and see the sheep pelts being, shorn off the sheep and dumped in the dumpster. So it's still a working market, how it's been. And did you guys know that Eastern Market is the longest, oldest, continuously operating farmers market in the country?
I did not know that.
So that's just it's something as Detroiters we can be really proud of. So we like to highlight all that and talk about that. Hey, this place has been going on literally the longest, and it's also part of the Renaissance and new things going on too. So
Yeah, because we talked to Eastern Market Brewery, for example, who's
brand new. They
there.
opened in October.
Yeah, that's a cool space, and they're not even done building it out. They're still going to do a second floor, and you have a favorite part of the tour?
Well, I love visiting Louis Resto's studio that's there. He is one of Detroit's most amazing musicians and a super humble guy, but a lot of people don't know that he's the guy that co-wrote Lose Yourself with Eminem.
Oh, really?
And he's got producer credits on all of Eminem's work.
Mom Spaghetti, was that him?
Yep.
That was
He actually accepted the Oscar wearing his Pistons jersey.
Yes, I remember that.
From Barbara Streisand. So
she was like, "What?"
yes,
That's right.
Yes. So he's there. His studio is on the third floor of DeVries Market, and he's often there just on a random Saturday. So I love that part. I love seeing if Louis is up there and can play a few tunes.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
See?
Now, how far do people come for these tours? I mean,
Honestly, we have had guests from all over the world, and I've been involved for 5 years, and it's dramatically increased the span of space that people are coming from. So I had a couple from Wales, so they came over from the UK specifically to visit Detroit, and this was their dream trip. You guys, their dream trip of their life
wait,
was
this
to come to
is
Detroit.
before the Guardian article came out.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. This was a couple years ago. And now we're friends. We keep up on Facebook and chat, and they want to come back. But they're huge Motown fans.
Oh, that's the Detroit
Exactly. So they met as young DJs in the London club scene, and they were spinning Motown records. And they have this amazing collection, and they have 2 daughters now. So their family of 4. They came over. They hired us just via email. They found us on Google and said, can you give us a tour of all the Motown sites? So I had the pleasure of taking some around that knew more about Motown than me, who grew up in Detroit and studies
awesome.
this stuff. So
That is awesome.
What did you learn from them? Did you I got to include that in the next tour?
just all the little facts, like, oh, did you know this particular Supremes album had this limited edition, record sleeve with this, photograph on it. Just really cool little facts. So, and they could name every club and every place people had sung, and it was really a pleasure. Brought me to tears to know that someone across the pond loved Detroit.
They're passionate about it.
Yeah.
People love this city, man.
It's a gem, man. We take it for granted sometimes, but you got to love the D.
All right, hang out for a couple minutes because we want to talk to you about this a little bit more. All right.
Sounds good.
This is the D.
Concert calendar.
All right, Mike, Becky, let's take a quick look at the concerts that are coming to town. Blues Traveler is going to be at St. Andrews Hall on Wednesday, January 31st. Man, that
Great
takes me
venue.
back. Yeah. So I haven't been to St. Andrews Hall yet.
Yeah, you need to go.
Oh, you have to go.
You have to.
It's amazing. It's so small. You can really get up close and personal.
Do you know St. Andrews trivia? You know anything about it that you can tell me?
Not much, no.
All right.
That might be a question in your future.
Maybe I need to study up, yeah.
It might be part of my homework.
Yeah, part of your homework.
In fact, seriously, if you need research for any of your tours, just tell Mike and he'll make me go do it.
Perfect.
Thursday, February 1st, 3 Dog Night at the Coliseum at Caesars Windsor.
Oh.
Mike, I know you're going to be into this show. Morris Day and the Time.
What are you talking about? I'm
yeah.
way into this show. Way. As soon as I saw that, my heart just skipped a beat. I might be there too.
Can you do the dances?
Oh, I can do the oak tree. I can do the jungle.
oh,
Yeah, get the chili sauce, man. Come on now. Come on, now I'm doing it in my head, son.
They're gonna be at the Soundboard. Grammatic's gonna be at the Royal Oak Music Theater. Friday, February 2nd, you've got Jay Electronica gonna be at the Majestic. Scott Bradley's Postmodern Jukebox is gonna be at the Fillmore. On Saturday, February 3rd, NF, a.k.a. Nathan John Fierstein. He's going to be at the Fillmore. And then finally, on Tuesday, February 6th, you've got Dublin Irish Dance. Can you do that?
I can.
You got, what do you need?
That's
Clogs?
2 Irish dances, right? Dublin? I am a comedian, ladies and gentlemen. I am a good comedian.
Yeah, they're going to be at the Flagstaff Strand. And then also, this was just announced, Jack White is going to do some shows to promote his new album. It's called Boarding House Reach. He's actually going to be here at the Little Caesars Arena.
The Hara.
Yeah, the Hara.
Hot and Ready Arena.
The Hot and Ready Arena. What do you think about that nickname?
I don't like it. I'm not going to lie.
Wow, she meant
Can we just cut that out of the segment? The Hot and Ready Arena is the dopeness. Becky.
Anyway, he's going to be performing there Thursday, April 19th, and he's got a rule: no phones.
I love that.
Just go watch us. Live in a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a show and watch the concert through somebody else's phone in front of me.
There you go.
All right. Well, then you guys are welcome. Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
no phones.
Yeah.
But you can go check Jack White out. He's making all these rules. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to see how Mike does on his Albert Kahn pop quiz.
The D. Breathe.
All right, we have with us in studio Becky Scarcello. She is from Feet on the Street Tours. You're given all these custom tours, and what goes into creating a tour? Have you ever had to create one from scratch?
Yes, we have. Because we get some unusual requests. So we do all the things you would expect: Corktown, Mexican Town, Brush Park, of course, downtown, Eastern Market, anywhere in the city, you name it. And we have some standard tours that when groups call us, they say, hey, that's great. That's exactly what I want. But then we get some unusual ones. Like we do a lot of work with all the universities around town and a lot of older people that are connected to this Osher Lifelong Learning Institute that want to do specific learning tours. And we'll have them all day long. One tour we did recently is they wanted to learn about immigration in the city and not just Mexican town. So we were talking to Bangladeshis, we were talking to Pakistanis, we were getting some Russian flavor in there, and that was really exciting. I mean, it was a lot of work to start from scratch, but I'm telling you, you name it, we can find something about it in Detroit.
Those guys weren't wearing ice jackets, were they? I'm just checking.
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Don't. If those guys call, just tell them you're busy.
We're busy that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has the perception of Detroit changed?
Absolutely. So we do, like I said, all kinds of groups, from kids to seniors. One thing that we do is with the International Academy in Bloomfield. So we have some experiential classes. They, as part of their curriculum, need to do these things. And so one of the things they can sign up for is one of our continuing tours. We'll have them for 4 Saturdays in a row, say. And one of the themes we've done is that's entertainment, showing kids that they can have a career in entertainment in Detroit. So we'll take them to Louis Resto's studio, like I mentioned, Louis. We'll take them to video production places, Minefield, Big Bang. We'll take them to a dance program and a theater program at the Hillberry, say. And these kids are used to coming to the city for maybe a Tigers game or maybe visiting the DIA, and they have no idea, and it is so rewarding to see their perceptions change right before your eyes. I mean, by the end of a few hours, they're like, hey, I want to stay here. I want to work here. I want to be a part of this. So huge, like, because literally they come in thinking it's just dangerous. I how am I going to get around? And they leave saying, I want to live in Midtown and, do work on my records, So it definitely, the perceptions change. We always ask people at the beginning of tours, what are you coming into with this? What have you heard about Detroit? And then we ask them at the end. And our whole goal is for people to say, wow, I didn't know that. I had no idea. And that's 90% of the time we get those kind of reactions.
That's dope, man. Especially coming from the suburbs. I mean, you're right. It's all about the entertainment of Detroit. You go in, you touch down wherever you're going to go, and you get out.
Right.
And that was my life a lot. Like even growing up in the area, I would go to certain areas of Detroit, but my main focus was to go to JLA, go to Greektown, go to the Fox, and then I was back up 75 headed towards Pontiac. And now that I've come back after moving away for a while, I decided to delve into it, and it's a fascinating place. You know, like I mentioned a few shows ago, I would take my kids on breaks. We would just go down to Detroit and look at the architecture. Go to the RenCen. It's still the RenCen to me, and take them through that to show them, man, this place was once thriving. And it's headed, its trajectory is headed back in that direction. I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier.
Do you do neighborhoods outside of downtown and midtown?
Absolutely, yep. So a really popular thing we do with lots of groups is take people back to, quote unquote, the old neighborhood. So you'll have, we've done a lot of big birthday parties and big anniversaries. So you get the whole bus load of your family, and grandma and grandpa are saying, you know, let's go back to the old neighborhood. I'm going to show you where we met, where we used to shop, where we got engaged, you know, and it's really fascinating to have people that this is their true history. So we learn from them, they learn from us, and it's just this incredible experience that they can show their kids. And then we always kind of loop in, we call it Detroit Past, Present, and Future, or Detroit Up Close and Personal. So, you know, we're not about sugarcoating, because we all know Detroit is not all that now. It's not all great, it's not all new, and not everyone is benefiting from the Renaissance. So we try to mix that in, like, hey, this is how it used to be, this is what we got now, this is what we have to work on, and really people enjoy seeing that whole perspective. And, you know, if people don't know about things, they're not engaged in it. So once you show someone, they want to be involved, and they want to be a part of it. So, but if you don't know, you don't care. So that's kind of our whole thing, is just to be ambassadors and show people what's going on and really connect them to Detroiters, so they'll want to go back to those businesses, they'll want to go back to those neighborhoods, they'll want to be a part of making it successful. And, you know, that's just a win-win. You know, it's not just about us doing the tours and come, you know, give us business, but we want to give all the chefs, all the proprietors business too.
Yeah, I was going to say, this must do a lot for local businesses. I mean, they must love you.
Well, we know that it's working. We know because we're in Eastern Market all the time, right? And people come up. Now, we can't possibly remember everyone that's come on tour with us, but people now recognize us, and they'll come up to our tours and say, oh, hey, how are you? You know, I come to Eastern Market every Saturday now. You know, and they had never gone, and say they were, you know, 50 years old, and now they're shopping there weekly. So it's really rewarding to see that we're having, you know, some kind of impact, and that they're coming back and giving back to the city.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool.
There is a spot I got to ask about, because I'd never heard of it till I read about it in The Guardian. Have you ever heard of this bar called Bad Luck?
Oh, yes. So I'll take you.
What is it all about? What's the story?
It's a specialty bar. So you know the whole Prohibition history of Detroit.
Vaguely,
a little bit.
But walk me through it a little bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, Detroit was a big player in Prohibition, just the closeness to Canada. So there was a lot of, you know, smuggling, the rum runners, as they say, across the water. So, and the Purple Gang was here, and lots of speakeasies, lots of blind pigs. So there's this whole, you know.
Wait, what's the difference between a speakeasy and a blind pig? Are they the same thing? Is there a thing? Like, is it just?
There's probably some technical difference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm not quite sure.
It's just a place where you go drink where you're not supposed to go drink.
Exactly. So, you know, there's an unmarked door. It's hard to find. You have to be in the know. So there's some newer places that kind of recreate that vibe. So the Bad Luck Bar is tough to find. It's down an alley. It's a little, you know, a little scary to get to,
that's cool.
in a cool way. And you go in, it's tiny, it's really dark, and their drinks are expensive, I'm not going to lie. So it's like a treat. You're not going to go there, you know, every weekend. But you get every drink is perfectly curated in its own special glass. So
that is a Seth type place. He's
Oh.
a fancy drinker.
I'm all about that.
So there's some kind of death drink that comes in a skull mug and is lit on fire.
Yes.
You know.
We are so going. We are so
See, I would go
going.
for that. I'm just a rum and coke guy. I'm a simple dude, but I would go for that.
Oh,
And you
Drinking
can,
out of a flaming skull?
right. And you can tell the bartender, hey, these are the flavors I like, or you can pick from their multi-page menu. So.
like raw egg, go.
Oh, yes. There's lots of things you might not recognize.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cucumber.
Whenever-
One of these days, man.
No.
But see, this is why, your
I would
listeners...
knock it out of your hand.
Your listeners need to come on our tours because we're all about showing you what you might not find out on your own. We're very much behind the scenes, inside scoop, introducing you to people in the know and taking you...
showing you how many knocks it takes to get into the little private room.
I mean, that's what's fun, right? So
That's awesome. Well, look, thank you so much for stopping by the show. And like you said, the next Easter Market Tour is Saturday, February 17th.
it is. And can I just say that a lot of people say, what? You do tours in the winter? Why would I want to walk outside? It's one of the best times to go to Easter Market. And we're not standing out in 8-degree weather for, 2.5 hours. We're in and out of, the sheds are heated, the shops and restaurants are heated. So, yes, dress for the weather, wear comfortable shoes, but you're not going to be freezing. And Easter Market is very, very busy in the summer months. In the winter months, we can kind of have it more personal and to ourselves. So you really get a smaller group, a more intimate experience. So
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so people who want all the details, they can go to enjoythed.com.
Enjoythed.com, that's our website.
And
Yep.
custom tours as well, if people want that.
Absolutely. You can just email me, Becky@enjoythed.com, and everything's up on the website. Links to our Facebook page and Twitter and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
This is the D.
Detroit.
This is the D. Brief.
Hard to believe, Mike. That's another show in the can.
Listen, man, it's becoming quite apparent that we're pretty good at this.
We're doing all right.
We're pretty good at this.
doing all right.
The debrief is awesome.
All right.
Chock full of information. Fun for the whole family.
All right, we've still got a pop quiz for you, though. We've got to find out.
You can't scare me.
If you know what's true and what's not true about the famed architect Albert Kahn. We'll get to that in just a moment. Before we do, I want to thank our guests, Rebecca Scarcello of Feet on the Street Tours, also Stephanie Matthews of the Sphinx Competition. Go check that competition out. That's a really good thing to go support. Also, Jennifer Graham Felt, if you're traveling over to Ipsy.
Ipsy.
I'm getting
Good
used
job.
to that. I'm feeling it. You can go check out Trojan Women over at Eastern Michigan University while you're there. We also want to thank Shay and Jag who helped us put this show together. By the way, you can head over to our website, thedebriefdetroit.com. You can find links to all the things we talk about on this show. And if you sign up for our email list, we will email you a list of everything that's going on around town so that you can go have as much fun as we are having. Right? They'd be going out to the Bee Nectar Meadery. And
you're missing out in
Tipping
life if
Point
you're not
Theater.
doing the stuff we're telling you to do.
Absolutely. While you're there, subscribe to the show. You can find it in Apple Podcasts. You can find it in Google Play Music. We're in Spotify. We're in Stitcher. We're in iHeartRadio. While you're there, leave a review. That helps other people find the show. And if you want, you can even download our mobile app.
It's just easier that way.
It is. That's how you listen to the podcast,
Exactly.
right?
You get a little badge that says, hey, here's a new episode.
Right. It's very
You have to
convenient.
go digging around for it.
It's on the iPhone. It's on the Android phone. Whatever you want. If you want a link to that, by the way, text the word Detroit to the number 444-999. We'll send you a link to the app. You can follow us on social media as well. We are The Debrief Detroit on Facebook. We're at The Debrief on Twitter. And we're The Debrief on Instagram. If you put on events, maybe you're a venue, maybe you're an event producer, you want us to know about what's going on, you can send your press announcements to press@thedebriefdetroit.com. All right, Mike. You ready for this big pop quiz?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Bo, bo, bo.
2 of these statements are true. 1 of them is false. You have to identify the false statement. Statement number 1.
Okay, Alex Trebek.
In the form of a question. You have to identify the false statement. Albert Kahn Associates did a lot of work in Russia, where they trained 1,000 architects and designed 521 buildings. Statement number 2. The Fisher Building was supposed to be part of a 3-building complex, 2 30-story buildings flanking a 60-story building. But then the Depression hit. Number 3. As an outspoken pacifist, Kahn refused to design any buildings that were going to be used for the production of weapons of war during World War II.
Okay, man. This is pretty easy. I don't think there are 1,000 architects in all of Europe, let alone Russia. So I think they only have like 21 buildings. So I'm thinking that the wrong answer is that one, the Russia. Oh, what? What?
Nope. There is no P tape of Albert Kahn, but he did a lot of work in Russia, actually. I mean, this man did a lot of work.
It's all false. That just seems to be all he did. Like every day of his life was build something.
Yeah, absolutely. But he was
Did
not.
anyone tell him to stop?
No.
Just relax?
No.
Like, chill, man.
But he was not a pacifist. In fact, his work helped quite a bit with World War II, and so that was the full statement there. So,
see, the problem was I didn't know what a pacifist was.
Right.
I thought it was like, he liked pacifiers or something.
No.
No, I knew what it was. I'm kidding. I'm an Ivy League dropout, man. I know that stuff.
All right, don't worry. You got another chance to get the pop quiz right next week. What's my homework for the week?
Listen, man, I was thinking about this, and I was down there the other day thinking about what happened to it. Trapper's Alley. There was this cool little alley in Detroit, in Greektown, and it has a lot to do with the old Detroit. It's really not around anymore. So it's kind of a two-parter. You have to tell me about Trapper's Alley and how it fits in with Greektown.
All right.
That's the bigger story.
Trapper's Alley.
Trapper's Alley is inside like a little donut hole, and Greektown is the big, fat, juicy donut.
I mean, I've been to Greektown, but other than that, I know nothing about this. So,
well, it's time for you to get learnt.
All right, I will do that. Until next week, thanks for listening.
The D Brief.
Your guide to Detroit's arts and entertainment scene.